Well, let's face it, there are many ways in which motivation is attainable on today's social media. But back when I was in search of these philosophical and motivational videos, they only came in forms of text and quotes. I used to scour the internet, searching, night in, night out, alone and sad, searching for the right words, the right quotes that would motivate me, that would guide me into becoming a great person, and the person that I wanted to be, that I didn't feel like I could have been back then. I searched for this guidance relentlessly. And now, with the world changing and social media evolving into a safe place and for the damaged, a place for the hurt, I feel the need to play my part, try to be a voice of wisdom for the lost, as I too have been completely lost. In order to truly understand, I had to reread over and over again the same quotes, the same sentences written by these well-renowned philosophers and writers. There was no one by my side to help me to understand or paraphrase, and even though I had nothing but chaotic, heartbroken emotions, I felt so alone. I felt like all I needed was that right piece of advice, the right advice for me. So maybe in this video, I tell you something that you don't need to hear right now, or maybe I say something that many people have already said, but hopefully I'll resonate with you. This is the reality of spreading advice, spreading motivation. If the right words don't enter your heart and mind, everything anyone has ever said motivational will never truly work. So how do you listen? How do you apply? How do you read and how do you learn? If you don't know how to live, deal with your situation, whatever it may be, how do you simply overcome it? Just by doing so or by finding the right advice? Well, it's a combination of both. Without learning, you'll never be able to plan for yourself. Without just doing, you'll never gain the experience needed and always be stuck at step one. In order for you to gain wisdom from others, you need to know that wisdom doesn't come from the easy choices of life. It comes from the hard and difficult life tests and life lessons. There may be lots of motivational videos that you watch, and many of them will tell you over and over again these things that can be so passionately delivered, yet sound so simply executed, leaving you feeling inadequate and chained. But the truth is, any piece of advice and any piece of motivation, it's like a diamond. It can only be made through heavy pressure. Push yourself to understand all of it. The words that seem to just float around. Either it's not special towards you or it's too general speaking. Maybe it seems like life's deepest secrets. Nevertheless, when you try to understand it, eventually the right advice will shine right before you. I only needed to win one time to become someone who pursues winning every single time. Changing your perspective is one of the best advice you can take in. It'll make you feel much better about a shitty situation, and even though it might feel like you're telling yourself a lie, what if you're already telling yourself one by not looking from a different perspective? You can start by trying to notice all the negative feelings and negative baggage that you're carrying around with your current mindset. If you shift your perspective to think more positively and to understand that even though maybe you're right about being wrong, you'll end up being wrong about being wrong because you never tried to shift your perspective and you only saw things in one way. Changing your perspective, changing your mindset into a positive perspective is very helpful, especially if you're going through a really confusing time in your life. Give yourself the closure that you didn't receive. I feel that the reality of many bitter, sweet, and sour endings where you may have felt abandoned, where you may have felt left in the dust by everyone, wondering and feeling empty and hurt. But if you can try to fill in that empty space initially reserved for someone else's love who's now long gone, you'll see that the story wasn't actually over yet. And this is the part you get to give yourself the closure that other people missed out on. A lot of times you might feel like brushing off this responsibility that you have to end the story on your own, and you start to blame everyone else for not considering that you would even need closure. Here's the point. The point is that you went through the dirt and you got rained on and it felt like hell. But it planted roots for you to grow and become something so beautiful, to become someone so honorable. Make yourself into a great person. And it might seem like the other person just missed out on giving you closure, but in reality, you put in the work for yourself to remain a strong person, and you moved on and had to let go.